Hello, ladies and gents, and
Hiya,
welcome
bitches.
to the third episode of the Vodcast, where the points don't matter. Yes, just like Brian's penis on a Saturday night.
That's mean.
You
don't know that.
You may have noticed that I posted late. We have been unable to record due to unforeseen power outages.
Fucking lightning.
Fuck you!
Who would have thought that electricity would stop me from having electricity?
You can't see me right now, but I'm raising my hand. Alright, so since we're late, let's try and move this along as quickly as possible.
No, I'm going to bitch about power.
Okay, I'll listen.
So, I'm at my house. I'm typing away at my keyboard, clackety clack clack. I'm doing my thing, being a good person, coming up with interesting stories for this vodcast, which is of course what I was doing. Not playing chess or watching porn. I would never do those things. Then the power goes out, and I'm like, well, this sucks. But you know what? I can go to my grandmother's house. She has power. That will be a good way to have power. So I go there. There's someone I don't know there. We play a round of MW3. We have a good time. Power goes out. This point where I'm feeling very unlucky. And people are knowing what's up. And this person I didn't know before is staring at me like I did this somehow. And I'm very sad. Because a tree not only fell on a power line to take out my electricity, but then lightning struck another power line and lit it on fire. The power line was on fire.
You know, there are places that they never have to worry about that because their power lines are underground.
Yeah, but you get, like, animals that bite them, and then it starts to electrocute them, and then they light on fire because they can't let go because their jaw muscle clamps down.
I mean, living up in Michigan, I had more power outages due to trees and lightning than I did to animals. I mean...
Yeah. It's disproportionate, but that can happen.
Yeah. Imagine it's harder to fix, too, because it's difficult to figure out exactly where under all that miles
really
of ground.
It's really easy to figure out where the fire is. It's where the smoke's coming from.
Well, yeah, but it's underground at the other place. Anyways, this week's beginning topic, our intro topic, mixed in with a little bit of complaining about electricity, is when will everything be digital? This suggestion came from me. I was clever enough to think of it when I saw one of the news topics that I was looking at. It sparked the idea in my mind. I brought up this website. I'm pretty sure I linked it to you, Mr. Farij, and I will definitely put it into the link. It is essentially...
The infographic?
Yeah, the infographic. It's essentially detailing the physical retails and the digital versus physical retails for computer PC games. And 2009, 80% was physical. 2010, 72% was physical. 2011, 69% is physical. So digital format's slowly moving up.
It still is, the most popular, but I imagine as internet connections get faster and become more prevalent, that's the word, that number will only go higher and higher and higher.
Yes. There's more stuff on here, like video games sold by genre and blah, 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 but that's not the important part.
Consoles are still the most popular.
Yeah. PCs are pretty good too, though. So yeah, just an interesting little tidbit. One day we'll all be sitting at a computer and all it will have is a processor and an internet connection and some RAM. And everything will be played online.
I imagine you'd have to have some kind of video. Whether it's an onboard shitty video card.
Even now they're getting to where it's good enough, like with a good enough connection you can hook up into, what is that one thing? That one commercial that's always like cloud storage, blah, blah, blah. It's cloud gaming or whatever. What is cloud gaming? Do you not know this commercial? It's like the most annoying thing in the world for anybody
Yeah,
who's ever
I
used
know
Steam. It's just like,
But
this has been around.
it's this brand new thing, never existed before.
It's just-
Uh-huh.
Oh my god, but I think they're tapping into it. Might be and it might be something I'm just pulling out of my ass from listening to extra credits, but I remember thinking they were talking about any computer that could, you had a good enough internet connection and you could play Flash. Essentially, the video from another computer would be streamed to your computer and you could control it in real time. So, like, people sitting around with these amazing computers and just letting other people play, essentially.
See, as great as that sounds,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's going to be a problem with it. And there's going to be latency.
Uh-huh. But with a good enough internet connection is what they're talking about.
Well, just moving RAM from your slots for RAM onto the video card is 30 times faster inside of your computer, that short of a distance. When you're having to send your command to a different computer somewhere, and I'm assuming it's going to be reasonably nearby,
Hopefully.
and then it's going to have to do something and then send the video back to you, I imagine there's going to be a lot more latency there. Unless we're moving on fiber, it's going to be too much to play.
Yeah. I don't know. It should be interesting, though. And I imagine things like NVIDIA and AMD are... Isn't that what they're called now? AMD?
Yeah.
Yeah, they changed their names a little while ago, and I forgot. I imagine that they'll be against this, because they'll be like, no, you want to upgrade your computer.
As many people having to upgrade as possible.
And Intel. But yeah, so at least at this rate, where I see being like, at least for PCs, completely ditching physical sales and just, well, not completely. I imagine that they'll never completely ditch physical sales. There'll always be somebody who wants to have that physical copy of their favorite game or whatever.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Because you never know when you could get a fucking power outage.
Or if you're like me and you use a certain internet company that just likes to decide, oh, you don't need your internet right now. We're gonna do, finger quotes here, maintenance at 3 a.m. You fools!
Why would you do this? Why would you not tell us about it? I could be using these hours for sleep.
If only. But I'm seeing this by like 2020. We're gonna be having mostly at least above 50% digital format.
I hope so.
Well, I mean it doesn't really bother me because I haven't bought a physical copy of a game in almost 2 years.
I haven't bought a physical copy of a game since I rebought Halo 3 because I scratched it. It was very sad.
I remember that. You were so pumped up to get back into the Halo 3 campaign, and you're like, let's go up. And we played like 5 levels, and you're like, let's go do something else. And I was like, but we're in the... But I can't really complain. I'm like that too sometimes as well. The moment that somebody tells me, oh yeah, you can't play this game. But I want to play that.
Because my Halo 3 disc was, for multiplayer, it was perfect.
Oh yeah.
Because the only map that I hated beyond never wanting to play again was Snowbound with Vomit on it. What was the actual name of it? Isolation. It was Isolation. It wouldn't load. Perfect! I never had to play on it again. It was amazing. And then I found out that the campaign was also destroyed.
It was the best thing in the world because we'd play together and I wouldn't have to play Isolation either. Yeah. And on the one hand, it's just like, oh yeah, we never have to play that horrible designed map again. On the other hand, that was like the best map in the world for me. Like, I always got the best KD ratios on that map.
Whenever I got put on that map, it always ended up being team duels. Now, I'm really good at team duels, and I'm really good on that map. I always won. I just hate that map.
It is a demon spawn, and especially I liked Snowbound when I first came across it, but that Snowbound started to remind me so much of Isolation because they are essentially palette swaps of each other that I was just like, I can't play Snowbound anymore.
2 bases, underground thing in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we have? We have
The outpost on the far
outpost
left.
in the center. Yeah.
Yeah,
We have something that keeps you from going too far away,
on
and a
one
general oval.
on one it's a turret, on the other one it's a wall. I think I prefer the wall.
I do prefer the wall.
All right, so let's move on to to news. From the guys who brought you Mountain Blade with Fire and Sword, which is one of my favorites Mountain Blades. I know a lot of people didn't like it because reasons. I just know a lot of people didn't like it, but I really liked with Fire and Sword.
What do we care about people?
Snowbird Games there they are, the creators of Mountain Blade with Fire and Sword, have announced their upcoming project Caribbean. It's essentially kind of like Mountain Blade, only pirates. A pirate RPG. You'll be able to Snowbird's announcement cites a trove of ambitious features, including sea battles with intuitive and easy control systems, real-time boarding fights that throw a player in the center of the action, detailed management and customization of both the fleet and the crew. Which, thank you. That is like the biggest pet peeve in the world for me, is when they like give you control of like parts of the game and then they say other parts you can't control. It's just like, but
No.
I could do this so much better than the computer's doing it, I swear.
I've always hated that.
Let's see, we'll have complex siege systems, different kinds of artillery with shipboards, cannons, mortars, and howitzers. They do talk about like land sieges and stuff, so I don't know if it's going to like focus mainly on boat combat, but it's going to bring over some Mountain Blade
naval warfare.
Yeah, but yeah, that really is a more simple term for boat combat, naval. Should have put that one together. But yeah, I'm looking forward to this game.
I'm imagining Caribbean islands. You can, siege them.
I'm so glad that you said Caribbean. I hate people who are like Caribbean. It's just like, why do you say it that way?
I just said it that way because you said it that way earlier.
Well, there's no E in there, so people who say care, you're pronouncing that wrong. It's Caribbean.
For that to make sense, English would have to follow a standard set of rules, and it doesn't.
That's just like in 3rd grade, I was told I before E except after the C, and that was total bullshit. They're weird. All of it lies. Anyways. So yeah, that's coming out this September, hopefully. I'm looking forward to this. If it's at the same price point as Mountain Blade is, then I'll probably get it, because it's like, what, $20? They're generally really reasonably priced games in a world where most games are like, ooh, $60.
Yeah. I like digital distribution because I have the feeling that more of that money is actually going to the developers.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Even if it's not necessarily true.
Yeah, it's not necessarily true, but I mean, people are always praising Steam about the split that they get. Like, they're not allowed to legally because they're non-disclosures, but companies, even indie companies, are always saying, that Steam's really good about the split between how much each company gets from selling on Steam. So,
yeah.
That's pretty good.
I mean, I wouldn't mind paying $60 for a game if at least 40 of that went to the people who made the fucking game.
Mm-hmm.
So what? You put it on a shelf. You get a pat on the back, not $20.
Or, well, no, you want to give them $20. Not.
Well, I want to give them $5 per game. That's a lot of money.
Alright. So, anyways, Total War fans are rejoicing all across the world because Total War Rome 2 is previewed, and I think it's announced. There is some confusion for me, at least, because some people seem to think this was the announcement, and myself was included, but then I've talked to other people, and they're like, no, I could have sworn I heard about it earlier, and I don't know exactly.
Yeah. People, they're not the most reliable source.
This is the first I heard about it, was earlier this week. I'm kind of disappointed that Rome is the next one they worked on. I mean, I know Medieval already has its second one, Medieval 2, but I was hoping for Medieval 3 to be next after Shogun 2, because Total War Medieval 2 is, in my opinion, one of the best RTSs out there, simply because of the fact that the grand campaign strategy was excellent. He had a bunch of characters that you could mess around with. I never felt overwhelmed by them, though. And then you had the fact that you had your generals who all had traits and stats and all these other things. And I actually became invested in my generals, and I was just like, this guy's good, this guy's shit. I'll go send him off somewhere to govern some random house.
And you did not want them to die.
Exactly. I got attached to my combat generals. I was just like, no, run away!
Have you ever watched one die and just gone, well, I'm done with this campaign?
I've done that more than once, my friend. And no other game has ever done that for me, ever. Not even in the Total War series.
You lose a general and you're just like, well, I'll just bring the next one in.
Yeah, the only reason I cared about my generals in any of the other Total War games was because of the morale hit my men would take. Not because I cared about them, but because I didn't want to lose the battle. That's it.
Yeah, they were a number to you.
It's just like, oh dear, that don't die. But, like, for example, I would send my general, the only time I'd send my general into actual, like, physical combat is when all the enemy units were routing. Otherwise, I would just have him stand near my troops and, like, keep them out of the arrow fire. That's all. Like, just like, you're commanding, you're not supposed to be charging into anywhere.
I have that kind of feeling with Halo AI versus AI in other games. I try not to get the Halo AI killed. I feel terrible when I see them get in a mongoose and charge right into combat because I'm like, no!
Stop! You don't
know games, I'm like, lol, he's gonna die.
But more news, less complaining, and more news about Total War Rome 2. There's going to be a new engine. Obviously, they generally do that with the new games.
I do enjoy engines.
Indeed. From what I've understand, there's going to be all in-engine cutscenes and stuff, so the general speeches and stuff like that are making a return again, I'm guessing. There's going to be bigger battles, and from what I can see, naval battles and land battles are going to be intertwined now, where it's appropriate. So, like,
that's nifty.
Yeah.
Because, you can fire onto land.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, if there's water nearby, it's sounding like that if you have, like, water nearby on a land battle, you can bring ships in and do stuff like that.
You get naval reinforcements.
Yeah, that's in the article that I'm linking here.
Oh.
Yes, the PC Gamer
linked them.
PC Gamer talks about how they watched the Battle of Carthage, I think it was, and how it basically started out with everybody on boats, and then the boats came up and discharged their units. And so I'm assuming there will be, reinforcements via boat. I mean, there's always been the ability to reinforce with, to the Total War series if you had somebody else nearby. They could bring in their units as reinforcements. So, yeah, that's looking cool. And, of course, there's going to be bigger battles now. They're trying to bring it home with I guess each unit's going to look kind of different, so it's not just little clones. I guess they're trying to make you care about them, but it remains to be seen. I mean, the Rome Gold Edition came the closest to out of any other game that I've played to making me care about my generals, but then I was just all like, but it's not... yeah, I mean, I guess. I'm actually just got Crusader Kings 2, and that game's really making me care about my current... I'll talk about that in media, because I have a really lengthy discussion on that. Anything to add in there?
About news? Or about this topic?
About this topic. I know about your news.
Nothing.
Okay. Next,
My news!
Oh, okay, let's do your noise.
My noise? Fuck you.
I said...
And my news, the actual one that's relevant to real life, the Higgs boson, which is the newest particle in modern physics, was recently discovered, even though it was theorized quite some time ago, in 1964. It's the particle that gives other particles mass. So, if this thing did not exist, gravity wouldn't matter.
So it's like
There would be
good
no
guy
stars.
Greg.
There would be
Particles. Here you go, bro. Here's some matter.
You matter.
Punny.
I am punny.
You are.
But it's the coolest thing. Because you know how they discovered this?
Throwing
They got
photons
a
at each other.
really... Not I think it's protons.
Protons, whatever. Something with a P and a
Got
ton.
a really big ring.
I am aware how
P and
ignorant that sounds.
And they shot thousands of them at each other and basically took extremely large photos of particle explosions thousands of times per second until they had petabytes of data. Just massive amounts of data. And they were like, oh wait, that's 99.99% sure. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and say it exists now.
Can I just point out that that's never been done before, has it? Firing protons at each other that quickly. Did they know for
There have been other particle accelerators.
Okay. I just imagine them like starting this up, firing protons at each other, and then all of a sudden, boom.
No, they have a reasonable idea that it's not going to blow everything up.
I would hope so. But is anybody watching that just to make sure?
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people standing right there going, yep, everything's working normally. Supposing if it did create a black hole that sucked in the Earth and killed us all,
We wouldn't know. We wouldn't be able to react quickly enough to...
At least you would be able to take comfort in the fact that they would die first.
Even if it was only a millisecond quicker. Oh my god. Alright, so there's that. There's your real life news for the day. Now, don't you all feel suitably smarter? I certainly don't.
You should. And I will supply a link to a Wikipedia page on the Higgs boson.
Yes. He means he'll supply it to me and I'll supply it to you.
Well, yeah, because I don't care about you people.
Lovely. Alright, next, the Dawn Guard DLC came out recently, and it's come out to mixed reviews as far as I can tell. Some people are all like, you get to be a fucking vampire, it's amazing. And other people are all like, why would you be anything other than a vampire? This isn't a very balanced expansion, blah, 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 so...
Well, before you would always be a werewolf because it was super kick-ass powers and no drawback.
Yeah. There is an interesting balancing system with the vampire of the less you feed, the more powerful abilities you get access to, but the weaker you are.
Yeah.
And the more you feed, the more health and all that, but the less you don't have access to. Goodness gracious. That was a weird hiccup burp.
We are eloquent today.
Yeah, isn't it though? Alright, so let's just move on away from vampires. This is a vodcast, not a Twilight vodcast. No, I'm kidding. These are real vampires. Alright, anyways, finally, after not several years, at least a year though, of development, the Coldstream DLC is out of beta. Anybody who plays Left 4 Dead 2 and has ever started up their own server and looked at Coldstream knows that Coldstream's been in beta forever. They've been testing that and testing that. This little bit of content has been tested for so long. It makes me think no wonder Half-Life Part 3 is taking so long.
Because every level's getting this much beta.
And if that's so, damn voice wheel.
I'd be happy to know what development stage they were in.
I don't know if I would, because what if it's really early? Because it took them a decade to get to Half-Life 2. And when Half-Life 2 came out, it was amazing looking. I'm scared of Half-Life 3, to be honest.
But there was the whole Half-Life 2 leak thing, and so he went and redid a whole bunch of it, so that might have contributed to the amount of time it took.
But do you remember that? I remember that. When the people, leaked the code, that person was found so quickly by the Half-Life 2 fanboys. They were
pissed.
They were like, you delayed Half-Life 2. Oh. Alright, let's move on away from...
The internet's a scary place when you get on its bad side.
Alright, next, this is what sparked my idea for the news topic, or the intro topic for this today. EA what is his name? EA Labels president Frank Gibao says Electronic Arts will be going completely digital company sooner than you think. The reason I was annoyed by this is because they're going to be trying to do it, obviously, on Origin, which is a retarded service, in my opinion. Just full of problems, and I hate it.
DRM.
Well, it's like one of the most invasive things. It like looks at your fucking My Pictures folders and stuff like that. It's just like, what are you? Stop that. Go away.
Well, get away from my porn.
Yeah, what the hell you think?
You don't belong here.
It's just the most ridiculous thing in the world, and I did install it. I mean, I can be called a hypocrite, but I wanted to play Mass Effect 3.
If it didn't check My Pictures, that's where you'd hide your pirated games. Duh.
Obviously. But what I found even more funny about this, though, is I was annoyed when I saw this because Electronic Arts has been said before that video games already cost too much and they shouldn't cost that much as a digital, especially in the digital realm. And then they proceeded to launch Origin and then fully price their games on Origin as if they were.
Huh? So where's the storefront that you're having to pay for? Where's the employees that you have to cover their payroll? Oh, no, you're just trying to make more money because you're assholes.
Well, I mean, sure, let's
go.
I
don't mind if the developer gets more money. For them.
Okay, I'm just gonna. Oh, that was a good taste of water.
Oh, baby.
Oh, yeah. But what made me even more satisfied and laughing...
Harder!
Jesus Christ. Was later in the week on The Escapist, there was a rebuttal, not a rebuttal, but just kind of like a reply for somebody else in Electronic Arts, who basically said, we had no idea what he's talking about. We're not going all digital. It just made me laugh my ass off. Like, yeah, you guys are all real well coordinated, aren't you? So,
hey guys, we're gonna be going all digital sooner than you think. No, we're not.
What? Alright, so, moving on. This next one is a bit of a touchy subject. The sexual assault-esque stuff in the Tomb Raider demo thing. Not to sound callous, I mean, I know I didn't have to say this when it was just me and you and talking because you understand it, but to our general viewers, I'm not trying to sound callous here, but I don't get what the big deal is. And at worst, I see this as an empowerment for the female character, Lara Croft. At best...
Basically, we've seen a lot worse, so we're not prone to care.
It's just like, yes, there was some sexual intimidation by a guy there, but she killed him. And not only that, I've seen worse things in movies, a hell of a lot worse, and nobody made any big fuss about it. Like, summer blockbusters I've seen worse than this. And yet, because it's a video game, I guess, I think
because of the interactive nature of it, we're going to withhold your freedom of speech.
Naturally. I mean, a lot of people seem to be relatively pissed that Crystal Dynamics is backing off and saying, well, it's not sexual intimidation or rape or anything like that.
Well, it isn't rape.
Well, it's not rape, but it is sexual intimidation. That's very clear. But as a character, this could be used. And it has been used. I've seen other movies do this before where female characters
become empowered.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just, I don't have a problem with it. And a lot of people are all like, oh, it's rape and it's sexual intimidation. Shut up. Quiet. Stop. It's okay.
Calm down for a moment. Breathe. Now explain your point of view.
Calm down a moment. Breathe. Now I'm going to boop you with my boop stick. So that's essentially what I wanted to get off my chest there, is it's not as big a deal as everybody's making it, in my opinion, from what I've seen at least.
We might get emails now.
Woo! All right, moving on. Ubisoft. Ubisoft's just not having a great time, right?
They're making a game called Watch Dogs about the digital the digital shadow that everyone leaves behind. So what do? They accidentally leak, 500 people's email addresses
Uh-huh.
in a game about how insecure the digital world is. They leak information.
That's what I call ironic.
You think in a game about hackers, you would be watching out for this kind of thing. People are going to take full advantage of this if you let your guard down for even a second.
I've got to be honest. I see somebody inside the company who's like responsible
Going,
for sending,
"Wow."
who's responsible for seeing all these emails, purposefully putting all the emails in the line, going, "This is so amazing." So yeah, Ubisoft fucked up and exposed Watch Dogs fans' emails. Doesn't seem as if a lot of people are. I haven't heard anything really about it, but I imagine a lot of people are unhappy. Oh, okay, and finally, the final
500 people are unhappy.
500. Yeah, exactly. The final thing this week, in the Mists beta, I think it is. We're talking WoW now. The Mists of Pandaria beta.
We got pandas.
Pandas. There is a black market auction house where you can get tier 3 or gear for transmog or ashes of a lair.
You can sell the heads of your enemies.
Well, you can't sell anything. It's
Not
random.
really.
It's chosen from random loot, and the bids will start anywhere from 10 to 20,000 gold, and there's no buyout option. But the reason a lot of people are getting mad is because in the selection of loot that can be put up there, it's randomly put up from what I understand, heroic raid epics will also be available.
From current content?
Yeah, from current content.
Oh, that's not cool.
Yeah, that's...
You're supposed to work for that.
Yeah, exactly. Now, if you camp and you're lucky enough, and you just camp the black market auction house if they put this in game, then I don't get the point anymore. It's just, why would I go raid? I can get the best gear if I'm patient enough. I mean...
I can get the best gear without having to deal with the screaming people.
There's a lot of... there's mounts, vanity pets, armor, recipes, and
Tier
some
3
stuff from
armor you
the
can't get
trading card
anymore.
game. Well, you can get it, I do believe. You just...
There was one tier that you couldn't get.
Oh, right. The, I think it's Naxxramas or something when they moved it into Wrath, wasn't it?
I'm not entirely sure anymore.
Yeah,
All
it's
I know
been
is
times since
hopefully that's up there.
That would be good to be up there. Things that you can't get anymore, that's fine. I mean, on the one...
Maybe I hope that it has like a different mark for people who have it originally.
Here's my thing. Is if they move the heroic raid epics for current content, they can even post heroic raid epics for previous content. That's fine for me. But if they remove the current content stuff and the 483 PvP items as well, they're essentially putting all the good. They can put all the good stuff up on there. Take that from the loot list that can be put on the black market auction house, and I don't even care anymore. Simply because to me, this game's, and like most games for me, has always been very personal in the fact that I know I worked my ass off to get such and such thing. I don't care if other people know I did that. And I don't care if other people have it. That's just like I used the Flame Word Hippogriff. For those of you who play WoW, you know what that is. Everybody fucking has that thing. But I love it, and I use it.
And I use my gyrocopter. Or Snowy Griffin.
Snowy Griffin. You know, I used the Snowy Griffin for the longest time, just because I was just like, I don't need a higher level one. It scales.
It scales now. There's no point.
And then I got, my Flame Word Hippogriff. I was just like, oh, that's amazing.
This is so much cooler.
Though if they keep the wing noise that they put in the Mists beta, I'm not going to use it anymore, because the fucking Hippogriff has the worst beta, or the worst wing sound in the world. It's just like, God, make it go away.
Which is why the helicopter shall prevail. No wings.
Now, when you're flying around, all you hear is clank, 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 clank.
Yeah, well, Warcraft sound, 0%. There we go.
Alright, so unless you've got something to add that you didn't want to add before, that's all of our news for this week.
Yay, news.
Yay, news.
Have fun watching this Half-Life 2 footage.
Next, we've got media. Media we have experienced, though Brian has experienced 2 days less of media than I have, apparently.
Fuck you. I got to play chess 40 times.
Woo! Interesting people doing interesting things.
I'm the king of interesting.
This week in games, Half-Life 2, and...
I did get to watch a Harry Potter.
A Harry Potter.
I got to watch one of them. I'm not really...
The way you're saying.
I don't remember which one. I wasn't paying attention.
Well, did
if I known that I would be
gay Dumbledore?
If I would have known, I would have gone 2 days without power. I would have paid more attention to every moment of electricity that I had.
There is moments like that where you're just all like, I would have cherished it all. No, you wouldn't have.
I would have loved it so much if I...
Alright, so, in the games front, obviously Half-Life 2 for the Vodcast, but also I just got Crusader Kings 2 about 2 days ago, and it is a phenomenal game, and it's coming very close to Medieval 2 Total War in terms of making me care about people, because I've started a game, and in this game you start out, I think it's 1066 or 1065 or something like that, and you can choose from any Christianic religion, or if you get the Sword of Islam DLC, you can choose from any Islamic DLC kingdom that was around at that time. But what I find cooler is you don't have to choose the kingdom. You can scroll down into the separate little places, and this game's historically accurate enough. It knows who all the different dukes and duchesses were, and like
Sweet.
earls and earlesses, I think is what they're called.
Yeah.
And
you can pick by leader.
so you can just pick some random guy who has just one territory, and in the single-player mode, the only objective that you're given at the beginning of the game is have your bloodline survive. That's it.
And you're just going to keep going and going until something ends you.
I think it ends at 1453 or something like that, or 14. It expands over 400 years. And
but how long does a campaign last?
The 400 years. And if you choose the very beginning date, there's different bookmarked dates. Like I can't remember them all. I'm no history buff, but
I meant in real world time.
Oh,
how long would you expect one to last?
I don't know. I mean, hold on. Keep them busy for a second. Talk about something you've been doing this week.
So I got to play one match of MW3.
Did you win?
Yeah. I played Search and Destroy, and because I had never played it before, I was like, you know what always worked in MW2?
No, what?
Sniper rifles. So I was like, I'll just equip myself a sniper rifle. I'll be happy with this. I'm gonna win. And I got put down very quickly because I realized that it wasn't a one-shot kill in the chest. And I was like, well, this sucks. I shot him. Didn't realize that he was still alive, and that was the end of me.
Alright, here we are.
I started using a shitty SMG, and then I won every time.
Alright, here we go. There's this guy, J-Squared John Jeremy, on YouTube. I highly recommend if you want to watch a Crusader Kings 2 Let's Play, you go check out his channel. I'm in the middle of watching it myself, and this is one of the things that really got me going on wanting to play this game. He's done an entire campaign Let's Play, from beginning to end, as the King of Scotland. Scotland, woo! He fucking takes over most of Eastern Europe as Scotland. It's quite impressive. Like, I skipped to the last video just to see how far he gets, and he's down into Spain by the end.
What is Scotland's thing? Is it the bagpipes?
That's Scottish bagpipes, yeah.
Yeah, so they become more prominent in the future? Bagpipes everywhere?
I suppose.
All across Europe?
I don't know that musical instruments are really prominent anywhere. I mean, like, the only real musical instrument that I can think of that everybody, like, can imagine being played at least is, like, the guitar or bass.
Drums in, like, every culture.
Yeah, drums, guitar, and bass, string instruments. Anyways, and you were asking, how long a campaign lasts. Well, he played from the beginning date, 1066, which is where I'm at, or 1065 or something like that. And it was a 70-hour, 40-minute long campaign.
Nice.
And he started out as a king. I am starting out as...
high replayability, you'd say?
You can play as anybody.
So, massively high replayability.
You can go... Do I want to be
70 hours. You're paying less than a penny for each hour of fun if you replay it just a few times.
I got it on Amazon and activated it on Steam, which this is the first time that's ever worked for me. Usually activate a project on Steam using the CD key does not work for me. It worked this time. And, oh god, I'm so attached to my king. I can't remember his name because it's a Croatian name, but I'm like, I don't want to die.
I'm so attached to you. What's your name?
Good.
Just, you should have named him Lord Herp of Derp, what, the 8th?
No, I had a daughter. I got married to some duchess from some place or whatever. And
Lord S.
Some princess or whatever. And, we had a daughter, and which sucks because my current ambition, you can select ambitions, my current ambition is to have a son. So I was just kind of
you look down, you're like, damn it. Huh.
I'm feeling very much like King Henry VIII right now. And, I'm not going to kill my wife, though. So, there's that.
Look at the princess. Next time, you get it right.
So I had a princess, and you can name your your children. I named her Twadia. I'll name my first son Lord Herp of Derp.
Lord Herp of Derp.
So eventually one day he will be Duke Lord Herp of Derp. And it's really difficult where I'm starting out from because I'm in Croatia. And for those of you who don't know your history, which that includes me, so don't feel bad, Croatia has 10 territories on this map, very small. And most of them are covered up by dukes, dukedoms, and which are several territories inside of one. So if I try and attack one and claim it, then the entire dukedom will come after me. So there's
pissed.
So I've got one territory, and I'm inside of a country that's got 5 or 6 territories for each of my enemies, and then there's one guy on the very opposite side of Croatia who has one territory also. So I've sent my chancellor over there to fabricate claims on the throne there. I'm like, I guess I've got to start somewhere. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. Oh, and also, I've been playing X2 The Threat again recently. Not really much to describe about that. That game is fun as hell if you enjoy it.
It's a space game where you can fly a spaceship.
Yeah, it's fun as hell if you enjoy the kind of thing, and I enjoy that kind of thing. I've been watching The Wire. I've got almost the entire first season finished. I've been taking a bit of a break from Breaking Bad. Funny. Yeah, I think that's about all I've really done. I've been listening to Lux Eterna over and over and over and over and over while I'm...
You're welcome.
You'd be so happy with me right now. I've got 3 tabs open of YouTube. They are Lux Eterna, followed by the entire Hybrid Theory album in one. And then finally, the final tab is Inter-Party System. What is that song called?
It's in the tab. Go look.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. I closed it.
We'll never know.
Don't Stop. That's what it's called. Which is a phenomenal song. I found it watching an AMV on accident, and I was just like, this is awesome.
Well, when this video goes up and you link it, I'll make sure to go listen to it.
Yes.
But not until then.
Alright, so, your turn. What have you done this week? Or 5 days?
Well... It's not much.
You watched anything? Played any games?
Do you have any idea how mind-numbingly boring spending 2 days doing nothing is?
Apparently numbing enough that you can't think anymore.
I've played Pokemon Soul Silver on my DS because it was the only thing that had a battery charge. I played the shit out of that game.
How far did you get?
I got 6 badges in 2 days.
Ooh, aren't you impressive?
I am impressive, considering when I was 8, I could get 8 badges in 18 hours. But, whatever.
I was just thinking similar thoughts, like 2 days. Yeah. I
Hey,
remember
to
playing.
be fair, I was also playing chess and Pokemon at the same time.
How are you playing chess and Pokemon at the same time? I thought it was
Real
the
world
only thing-
chess.
The
and,
world chess.
Yeah, real world chess.
The world.
The glass chessboard and a broken knight, so that every time I move it, I have to like stack its pieces back up so it doesn't shatter again.
Be very careful. Don't cut your hand open.
It is just glass. I'm sure that glass isn't sharp.
Oh my goodness. So before your power went out, were you watching anything?
I actually had planned on watching the new episode of The Newsroom.
Which is phenomenal.
It's phenomenal. The one episode I've seen. I'm wondering if the new one's on YouTube. I haven't checked. I just got power back at 6 o'clock today.
Yeah, which, by the way, for any of you out there who are looking for good companies, HBO has forever put itself in its my good gracious.
They've posted The Newsroom on YouTube.
Just like, yeah, whatever. We know you'll watch it.
I mean, it wouldn't just stop me from watching it on the internet anyway, but I'm glad that they endorse this kind of thing.
Here at the podcast, we do not endorse piracy.
Oh no. We endorse
Porn.
something else. Some other way of doing that.
I don't know that they're going to. It looks like they've already posted episode number 3 preview, so it's looking like they're not going to post season number 1 episode 2, which is a shame.
Well, damn. If only there was some other place I could find this.
I've watched The Newsroom season 1 episode 1 and some other place, but I don't feel bad because I've got access to it in another room. But not only did I do that, but I've watched it fully all the way through twice on YouTube. The first episode. I was just like, I feel so happy. I have to show.
I watched his rant 3 times. I was just like, this is awesome.
I not favorited. I think I liked it. I don't know if that I favored it. Let's see if I favorited it. Yeah, I favorited the part Charlie Skinner screaming, "I'm a Marine, Don. I'll beat the shit out of you. I don't care how many protein bars you eat." that part of that's in episode 1, and it was very early on in the episode, and I at the point wasn't quite sure. I mean, the rousing speech at the beginning was enough to get me to come in and watch the show, but I still wasn't sure if I was going to watch the show. When that happened, I was just like, "Yep, I'm here."
Yep, and this is what I'm going to be doing until Game of Thrones starts back up.
Yep. And in the next episode, there are parts that make me slowly kind of realize that violent part of that guy's personality is kind of like in there just along with his chipper attitude, because he calmly threatens people.
Yeah.
He's just like, dee, 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 dee. I'm gonna punch your teeth out. Or I'm gonna knock your teeth out one punch at a time, I think is what he says to one of the person. And I'm like, yes, I like this guy. Oh,
He gets things done.
Yeah, no, naturally. All right.
It's a good trait in anyone.
Especially somebody who's high up in power. Anyways, I know you've been watching Scrubs, I do believe, still, aren't you?
Yes, I am now on season 8.
Yeah. That's I think it's season 8 that a lot of people consider the last actual season of Scrubs. Because season 9 has a bunch of new characters there. Everybody's like, it's not Scrubs. I enjoyed it.
I'll find something new to watch after this one.
Season 9's the part where I think it's season 9 where Dr. Cox falls through the ceiling. Shady.
No, I have to watch it.
JD and Turk are both like standing there talking to him, and Turk's just like staring at the ceiling, staring at Dr. Cox. So we're not going to address that he just came through the ceiling, huh? That's phenomenal. Phenomenal. I am part of the Chris Puckett generation. I can't help myself. I like that word.
We're going to name our generation after an actor.
Chris Puckett's not an actor. He's a shoutcaster for MLG. Everything that was awesome in the 90s, he called phenomenal. So much so that he starts to come to realize that yes, I know I'm saying phenomenal all the time.
See, I hear names and I just assume actor because I don't know any actors.
Yeah. All right, so Scrubs. Oh, I've been listening to Hardstyle, a lot of Hardstyle, which is awesome. But so yeah, I think this is starting to sound a little bit dead. So unless you have anything else to add, I think we'll call this to a close.
We're dead, yeah.
Theme song. It's a theme song.
We can't just take that.
I don't see your name on it.
You know what? When you get sued, I'm splitting. I don't care, man. It's on your channel. It's your content. Bye-bye.
It's Brian. Brian made me do it. Who's this Brian? Brian.
That guy. And for some reason, I'll be in Texas getting sued. Like sitting in the audience, just like doo. Please don't point at me.
What the fuck am I even doing here? All right, so thank you guys for watching this episode of the Vodcast. I hope you enjoyed the footage in the background if you watched it, and if you did not, I hope you enjoyed the sound of our sexy voices.
Also, piss off.
Yes, piss off, indeedly.